We'll do a bunch of stuff. I love that tune.
Good evening and welcome to Field Talk. I am the Field, also known as Field of Bears, here to remind you that socialism always ends in starvation and genocide. Now, before we started, I would also like to remind you Field of Bears' handsome mug, as seen on stream, is currently available, which is just one of the reasons why it is superior in every way to Tinder Ugly Mug. It has my classic logo from before Kiwi Bear adapted it into my bear icon. That mug is also available at Redbubble. The link to both of those should be in the description below this video or stream, whichever you're watching. Actually, I should just go ahead and check on that. Sure. Yes, mug is in the description below. So it is superior in every way. Then there's Ugly Mug. Goodness. Better. Hey, Shamrock Bear. So the big news is I have completely finished the writing of Oso Grande Makes Everyone Happy. Thank you, Shamrock. I don't think very much of it is going to change. Unless you guys feel like seconding stuff. That would be, of course, pretty cool. But, you know, I am a little bit worried about just putting my address out there on the interwebs. Well, I'm not seeing... Hey, Sarge! Welcome. I'm wondering if I should go ahead and get started reading before I see very many more people in here, or if I should wait for more people. Because I did say I would read out the whole thing once it's done. But it's about 7 pages. There's a link down to the Google Doc version of it, where you can read it later if you would like. But I think I will go ahead and get started with the reading bit now. Now, I know Big Drum Bear is on the replay right now. Even though I come live to his stream, he'll be catching the replay. I'm not going to be doing voices because none of the people who will be watching this video are in the target audience. Exactly, Shamrock. Most of the people I see regular in my stream, I feel like I can probably trust. Feel like I can probably trust you. But the rest of the internet are scoundrels. And I feel no desire to make myself vulnerable to the kind of skullduggery that is regularly propagated on the boards of 4chan. So, as much as I find 4chan ops hilarious, I don't want to be the subject of one, ever. So I think that the background is going to be staying the way it is. Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Yeah, I won't be doing the voices, guys. I don't think any of you are in the target demographic, which is chillins between probably the ages of 6 and 11. I think I wrote it. Hold on. So, I'll try and get through this quickly. It's about 7 pages on just a regular document. So I'll try and get through this quickly. Far, far away in the deep dark woods, where the animals can talk to each other, there lived a big bear named Oso Grande. Now, Oso Grande was the kind of big bear with a big cave, and a big table with lots of room, and a big heart. Hey, Debbie! We're just getting started with the story. And a big heart for lots of friends, or at least critters who liked him. Among those critters were all sorts, because Oso Grande had room in his big heart for just about everybody, from the wandering wolves to the little bunnies in their warrens to the squirrels in their trees, and even for Donkey Jack and his loud braying. From the time he was a cub, Oso Grande loved playing games with the bunnies, because they always came up with the biggest, best games, even though they were very small. Even though he and Donkey Jack hardly ever won those games, because they always involved running and jumping, Oso Grande thought them the most fun in the deep dark woods. His friends weren't the only things that Oso Grande had room for in his big heart. There was plenty of room left over for salmon and honey, and how to get them. The salmon because it made him strong and healthy, and the honey because it tasted so gosh darn good. Hey, Boulder! To get the salmon, he'd fish the streams and tributaries, which was fun on its own, but even more fun if a friend like Donkey Jack happened along to have a chat while he did. Dang it, this is always a problem. Nobody knows if he liked the days he brought a long stick strung with fish back to his cave better, or the days when all he brought back were the words of one of his many friends. Getting the honey was a bit of a different story. Well, everyone always asks a little break. I think I remember where I was. Yeah. So just a little break from the story. Yeah, I was having fun in the chat on a stream, but The thing is most people are always asking Stefan really serious questions, and they're always very dour when his super chats. They're also very dour, you know. Oh, Debbie, the entire story is link in the description. The Google Docs link is all right there, the whole thing. If you see it, so it's all, and so just to lighten the mood, I thought I would send some that made him smile at least, and I succeeded in making him laugh once, and just kind of ironically smile the other time. Just to kind of cheer up the stream a little bit, I had to. And the thing is I remember actually a couple of years ago, Steph had actually said, no, maybe if we get philosophy printed on Kim Kardashian's derriere. If we can get philosophy printed on, and important issues that need discussion printed on Kim Kardashian's derriere, because that's all people seem to care about. And I'm not imitating him while I'm doing this. For once, I'm not actually trying to imitate Stefan Molyneux's Canadian British accent. So, in that one, I remembered that, so it's like, hey, Kim Kardashian is going to the White House. It's kind of close to what you suggested. Alright. Hi, Pinder. We are just getting started. I'm sure that you are familiar. Getting the honey was a bit of a different story, since the only way to get it was to climb the tallest trees in the deep dark woods and take a honeycomb from the beehives up there. The bees didn't much like it when he did that, but Oso Grande had such thick fur and skin that he hardly ever felt a single sting. Unlike fishing, there were no days when Oso Grande set out for honey and came back without any, since beehives were easy to find. Once he found one, he'd just climb up the tree, no matter how tall, and if it was in a special spot, he'd get to enjoy the view that only birds and squirrels usually see. Thank you very much, Sarge. Please do. Oh yeah, I said I'm still waiting on the intersectionals to complain about representation and plumbing. That's what I said. It was very amusing. Well, construction in general. They don't complain about construction work. Oso Grande was happy, Donkey Jack was happy, the squirrels were happy, the bunnies were happy, and everyone was happy. Except there was one thing. One day, when Oso Grande had just gotten himself a nice big chunk of honeycomb, and had watched the most beautiful sunset he'd seen all day, a bunny, Brittany Keenears, was standing at Oso Grande's cave with her bunny arms crossed and tapping her bunny foot, waiting for him. Oso Grande smiled a big-hearted smile to her and gave her a happy greeting. "Hello, Brittany, would you like a piece of honeycomb?" "It's not fair," she said with a voice as cross as her arms. Oso Grande was puzzled, since he knew everyone liked honey a great deal. So he sat down cross-legged, so that he would be just a little bit closer to his little friend, and asked, "What isn't fair? Is somebody picking on you?" Brittany rolled her eyes and sighed as if Oso Grande was just a big dummy, and told him it's just not fair that you can get honey when the rest of us can't even get close to the beehives. Oso Grande patted Brittany's little head and ruffled her ears a little and told her, "There are lots of things that just aren't fair. I can't make the bees not sting you. What I can do is give you some honey, since I love sharing with my friends." Howdy, Andrew. We are just into the First, compliance. B, you made it! Welcome! Alright. I think we might even have most of the writing crew in here. So we're getting the whole story start to finish with several interruptions. And can't you see how that's unfair? Don't I like sharing with my friends? How am I supposed to share with you when I can only get the honey from you? Oso Grande was even more puzzled by these puzzling questions, since he knew that Brittany shared lots of things with him. Well, he started. You share blackberries with me, and I like those plenty, so let's call that even. No, no. Everyone agrees. We'd be happier if nobody can get the honey than if we had to get it from you. Everyone? Everyone. Oso Grande was deeply troubled by this revelation, since he had all of the bunnies and many other critters besides in his big heart. He puzzled his puzzler over this puzzling puzzle for a good long while, and he just couldn't see how to make everyone happy and still get to eat honey. So he handed the whole honeycomb over to Brittany and told her sorrowfully, if it will make everyone happy, then I will give up my honey, even though I like it terribly. You are correct, Sovereign Bear. We really must eat our honey. For a long while. No, I've never read Watership Down, actually. Is it good? I've heard about it. I hear that it makes people cry. And Watership, I've read the Bible, Sovereign Bear, yes. But I don't see how I don't see how a fiction book that makes people cry and the Bible are related. Alright, so for a long while, Oso Grande would go on long walks and just look at the beehives from the ground, and walk on until he found a big, tall tree without a beehive in it to climb up to the tippy top. There he'd think about how big the deep dark woods were, and how many critters lived there, and how much he wanted all of them to be happy. Then he wouldn't miss honey all that much anymore, since not having it was making so very many critters happy. The Watership Down is Moses. Interesting. I might check it out. It might help me be a better children's author. I get the feeling that Watership Down was supposed to be for kids, so it's Moses for kids. Interesting. I might check it out. For some reason, though, Oso Grande didn't feel quite so big as he did before. Now that will crop up again, guys. Pay attention for that. A little while after Oso Grande's walks to climb trees without beehives were happy instead of sad ones, another bunny, Liam Huppington. Liam is such a dick. Ooh, shoot. I cussed on stream. Do that. Such a Richard Long Johnson. That's what he is. Ugh. I dislike Richard. I dislike Liam. I wrote him and I don't like him at all. Now, was waiting for Oso Grande at his cave with his bunny arms crossed and his bunny foot tapping. He had to wait a good long while for Oso Grande to amble along with a long stick strung through the gills of 15 big salmon. Liam made himself look as angry as a bunny can look. You watched the film in elementary school, and you carried your chairs to the gymnasium. Watched it projected, huh? See? B agrees that it is the story of Moses. Just not fair. Now, Oso Grande liked how well Liam played bunny ball, and he was always glad to have him on his team. So seeing the bunny so far from happy that he was angry was a big bit of trouble. Oh, Roy. That's actually a not bad idea. That's not a bad idea. But I don't think I'll do that. I might go ahead and check it out, Sovereign Bear. I might go ahead and check it out. So what? Because Oso Grande wanted everyone to be happy, he asked, "What isn't fair, Liam?" Liam glared at Oso Grande as if not knowing why he was mad was just as irritating as why he was mad in the first place, and said, "It's not fair that you're the only one who can fish." Oso Grande sat down on the ground so that he would be a little closer to his little friend, and said with a warm smile, "But I'm not the only one who can fish. Eagle Bob and William Wolf fish too." Who cares about Eagle Bob and William Wolf? They're mean anyway. You don't want to be like mean critters, Oso Grande. You do. Do you want to be like mean critters, Oso Grande? Question. Oh, it's okay, Sovereign. We're having Fridays are fun days. We have fun. Oso Grande found himself troubled, since he didn't think either of them were mean critters, but he had a great deal of trust in Liam. In order to settle the conflict in his head, he asked, "Why do you say they're mean?" "They won't listen to bunnies at all." Gosh, that doesn't sound mean, and I don't want anybody. Gosh, that does sound mean. Yeah. What did these? What did these say? Nothing. Hey, the best answers. We are on the second event already. Where are we? Gosh, that does sound mean. I don't want anybody to think I wouldn't listen. That's why I stopped getting honey. That's why you did that? Well, thanks for listening to the bunny who told you. Oso Grande felt glad that he was appreciated and thought that giving up honey wasn't so bad after all. And he said so. It wasn't as hard as I thought it would be. Liam smiled crookedly and said, "Well, since you listened once, you can listen again. And what I'm asking isn't that much more than what you did already." Gosh, Liam, I do want to make you and all the bunnies and everyone happy, but I can't stop fishing because that's how I get my salmon. Hey, Dax, welcome. That's the worst part, the little bunny bellowed. Yeah, bunny bellow. We can't even eat the salmon if we could catch it in the first place. I just don't see why that bothers you then. Liam was losing patience. If he had any. Liam was losing patience. If he ever had any. As he explained, "Look, we can't eat the salmon and we can't catch the salmon. It's a double whammy of can't. How do you think we feel seeing you do something we just can't? Did you ever think we might want to fish if we could? No, you didn't. Everyone feels like we'd be better off if nobody fished than if it was just you." Oso Grande was deeply troubled by the thought that he was making everyone unhappy by catching salmon in the streams, but he also knew that salmon was one of the best things for him to eat. On the other hand, he had learned how to live without honey, so he could do the same thing with salmon. The bear racked his brains so hard looking for an answer that Liam was afraid that he might have broken it. But still, he couldn't figure out a way to keep A way to keep fishing for salmon and make everyone happy. Oso Grande sighed a big sigh from the bottom of his big heart and said, "If it'll make everyone happy, I'll give up salmon." Well, I think you bathe too much to be a hippie, B, so for some reason, Oso Grande didn't feel quite as big. That was wrong just then. I will update the Google Doc to reflect that. It's a good thing to be rereading through this. Hi, Scarlet Bear. We are going. We're completely done with the writing sessions, and now we're just going through. We're going through the entire thing, start to finish, with many, many interruptions. Christine, Well, I don't know what you mean. What am I about? I'll get into that after we finish the story, I guess. If you can think of a better way to ask the question. After he stopped fishing, it took Oso Grande a while to run out of fish. And once that happened, he found himself just a little bit hungry, always. It wasn't as though there was nothing for him to eat, but every meal just lacked something. Eventually, though, Oso Grande got used to it. Climbing trees and talking to his friends was enough to keep him moving along. Oh, Christian. Sorry, I thought that said. I sometimes have slightly laxistic moments, and I misread things all the time. Yeah. Moving along. One evening, after watching the sky paint itself pink, then orange, then yellow, in a glorious sunset, Oso Grande found Edgar Alban Hop waiting with his bunny arms crossed, tapping his bunny foot. Oso Grande could see that he was troubled, so he asked, "What's wrong, Edgar?" Edgar Alban Hop sighed as though he was dreading the following statement and said, "It's just not fair, Oso Grande." Oso Grande was puzzled at what could possibly be unfair after giving up both salmon and honey. Oso Grande sat down cross-legged to be a little closer to his little friend and asked, "What isn't fair?" The environment exists, whether I am for it or against it, so that's irrelevant, Christian. Um, Edgar looked at Oso Grande's ears and said, "The other rabbits say it's unfair that you can climb trees when they can't." And this made no sense to Oso Grande for a number of reasons, one of which he said, "It's not like I'm the only one who can climb trees." "I know that," Edgar sighed, "and I said so. I said that the squirrels climb trees all day long, but that doesn't matter to them. They just go on and on about how unfair it is for you to get to see the sunset from way up there. Why don't I go talk to the bunnies who are bothering you, Edgar?" "No, no," Edgar said defeatedly. "That would only make them feel worse." "Well, I don't want to make any bunny feel bad." Um, Racism. Well, that's a bit more philosophical than the environment being for or against its existence. I would prefer people not be racist, but I understand why some people are. And I just work to change people's minds by example and by making sound arguments. Dax, you're hilarious. Let's see. The only thing that will make them happy is if you quit climbing trees, Edgar said. Oso Grande was deeply troubled by Edgar's distress, since he was only trying to help everyone get along, and since he didn't want to make any more trouble for Edgar, he said, "If it will make everyone happy, I'll stop climbing trees." For some reason, Oso Grande didn't feel very big anymore. Yeah, Kool-Aid is haram. By the way, it is haram in this not a cult. You have to drink either purple or red drink. And red drink is very close to haram because red is the color of commies. I am for all the good things and against all of the bad things. Yeah, exactly. Just for fun. For some reason, Oso Grande didn't feel very big anymore. The next day, Oso Grande was throwing stones into the river that ran through the deep dark woods, and trying not to think about honey, salmon, or climbing trees, when he was startled by coarse braying in his ear. "You don't look like yourself, Oso Grande." "I don't feel like myself, Donkey Jack," Oso Grande answered. "Tell me what's wrong." "I just want to make everyone happy, but that's easier said than done." "How are you going to make everyone happy?" Donkey Jack laughed. "First it was giving up honey. Brittany Keenear said that would make the bunnies happy. Then Liam Hoppington said if I stopped fishing it would make everyone happy. And now I stopped climbing trees, too, because Edgar Alban Hop said it would make everyone happy." Shamrock, I don't know about green drink. I don't know. That's sketchy. Green drink is sketchy. Like, it might be okay, but it might also be haram. Haram is Arabic for forbidden, and it is used by imams who speak English to say that things are forbidden. Even though they're speaking English, they say haram. And so I think it's funny in the not a cult meme, the not a cult joke, to say haram instead of forbidden, because I have that kind of a silly, dry sense of humor. Okay. Donkey Jack snorted. "It sounds like the bunnies are picking on you." "A little bunny pick on me? I'm much too big for that." Donkey Jack looked sidelong at Oso Grande and said, "I'm not so sure about that. You look a bit smaller to me." "They wouldn't pick on me. They're my friends," Oso Grande objected. "If they were your friends," Donkey Jack brayed, "they wouldn't make you change who you are when you weren't doing anything wrong. It's not like that. They just want things to be fair." "If things were fair, I'd have a beautiful singing voice." Yeah. Drink the bacon if you can manage to drink solid food. Oh my goodness, that's just not good. Hey, Barry Happy, you happen to come into a field talk where we are going through the story we've all been writing together. The children's story. Thank you. You'll well, I can articulate the moral for you very well. It's compliance for social approval diminishes the individual. Anyway, it wouldn't pick on me that if things were. Also, Grande sat in silence, and Donkey Jack left him to his thoughts. But there was somebody else who didn't like what Donkey Jack said at all. The very next day, Hops Diggersby was waiting at Oso Grande's cave for him to come out at the crack of dawn, with his bunny arms crossed and his bunny foot tapping the ground without any patience. "What's up, Hops?" Oso Grande asked with a sense of foreboding. "Have you been hanging out with that toxic Donkey Jack?" "Toxic?" asked Oso Grande. "Donkey Jack has been our friend since forever." Hops narrowed his eyes and leaned in close. "Why would you be friends with such a hateful critter?" Oso Grande was puzzled by this, since he had never known Donkey Jack to hate anybody. So he said, "Golly, I think you must be listening to some awful rumors, because Donkey Jack is a really kind critter." "If that was true, then why did he tell you we're not friends? We're not your friends?" Now Oso Grande thought about that for a good long while before he said, "I don't think that's what he meant." "I'll tell you what he meant," spat Hops. "He meant that you shouldn't be friends with bunnies." At this point, Hops Diggerby was huffing and puffing like something rather big and bad, but still managed to puff out, "Do you know why he would want that?" Oso Grande had never been more confused in his life, so he simply groaned. "No?" "I'll tell you why," the angry bunny puffed. "It's because Donkey Jack thinks he's better than bunnies. He hates bunnies." "Are you really going to be friends with a critter who hates bunnies?" He stood there with his chest heaving and his eyes blazing, as Grande tried to puzzle out how to answer him in silence. The silence didn't last, because Hops demanded, "Answer me." With pain in his heart and on his face, Oso Grande answered, "No, I don't want to be friends with a critter like that." Just around the corner, a certain donkey who heard everything walked away with a broken heart. Oh no. Just around the corner, there was a certain donkey. Sorry. Yeah. Donkey Jack. I don't know. Yeah, this project has taken way longer than I thought it would. I think we're going to stick to writing very, very much shorter things for our next project, Dax. Yeah. Just around the corner, there was a certain donkey who heard everything and who walked away with a broken heart. Ocean Grande saw neither nose nor tail of his former friend, Donkey Jack, over the next few days as he went about his business, collecting berries and other victuals that the bunnies didn't feel unfair for him to eat. Strangely, though, the best things were out of his reach, and he felt a bit small. See, right there. Right there is a turning point in the theme. I told you guys to pay attention. Every time he complied, I said he didn't feel as big, but now he's starting to feel small. Because instead of not doing something that is his nature, the bunnies are demanding that he do something that goes against his nature. So, a few days later, Oso Grande was foraging for food and trying not to be unfair to any critter when he found another bunny waiting by his cave. Oso Grande sighed and asked, "What's the matter, Martin Flatfoot?" "Why would anything be the matter? Maybe I'm here to visit a friend," he retorted. "Oh, in that case, I'll make some tea." "Well, there is something the matter," he admitted. Oso Grande sighed heavily and sat down, saying, "Okay, what's the matter?" "Why won't you eat grass?" "I'm a bear." "And that makes you better than us?" Oso Grande put his face in his paws and mumbled, "No, I just can't eat grass because I'm a bear. Sounds like you're being elitist to me. I really don't think I'm better than any critter. I just can't eat grass. If you don't think you're better than us, you would eat like us." "Hopper, I'm a bear. I can't digest grass. Have you ever tried to eat grass?" "No, you haven't. What makes you so special anyway?" "I'm not all that special. I just can't eat grass." More bunnies might believe that you like us if you would eat what we eat. Oso Grande looked at Martin Flatfoot and realized he would never convince him that his diet was the way it was for a good reason. He sighed a defeated sigh and said, "Well, if it'll make everyone happy." "It will," said Martin Flatfoot, and Oso Grande felt a little bit smaller. As the leaves turned from green to orange and gold, Oso Grande felt the chill in the air far more than the year before, because he was experiencing bear-pattern baldness that the bunnies insisted was perfectly normal at his age. Winter was coming, so Oso Grande started to focus on bulking up as much as possible for hibernation. From grass and foods he can actually eat. Though the Well, we can just ask Big Bear about that. Though the days had grown shorter, he still managed to spend long days foraging for food, and at the end of one of those long days, Bob was waiting for him there. Just Bob. "Why are you eating so much?" he asked Oso Grande. "Because I need to hibernate." "Is that where you lay around and sleep all winter?" "Well, yeah, I'm a bear." "Sounds like you're just being lazy." "No, I have to hibernate because I'm a bear. How are you supposed to help gather if you're asleep?" "I'll be awake in the spring." "Who's going to protect us in the winter?" "Well, I suppose you'll have to protect yourselves like usual." "Sounds a bit selfish to me. I'm a bear. I have to hibernate every winter to stay healthy." "That's just an old woods tale. You can skip it this year. I'm pretty sure I need it. It would make everyone happy if you at least tried." Oso Grande sighed and said, "If it'll make everyone happy, I'll give it a go." After that, Oso Grande felt quite small. Oso Grande spent the next 3 months being rudely awakened from the beginnings of hibernation, shivering and scrounging around the snow for food for the bunnies. By the time the trees started budding and the creek started running again, Oso Grande had just a small patch of fur left, and it was unbelievably thin. Was unbelievably thin and barely recognizable as having been a bear. It was then when Jenny Jumper met him at the front of his cave while the sun hung high in the sky. "It's time," she said imperiously. Oh, the line got deleted somehow. It's time for what? Oso Grande asked. Yeah, it is always time. It's time for you to renounce your toxic bearness and all of the other toxic bears. But I'm not toxic. Not anymore. Oso Grande looked down at himself and mumbled, which part of me that's gone now was toxic? The aggressive, mean, and bear supremacist parts. Oso Grande didn't know whether to be sad or angry, so he just turned his back and said, I'll think about it. Jenny Jumper called after him, make sure you make the right choice. Ah, man. After all that, their toxic bearness, that was the most awful thing I could think of for one of them to say. If anyone knows anything more awful than that, if anyone knows, like, say it in the chat now, or if you're catching the replay with Big Drum Bear, then drop it in the comments. But I think that's just peak awfulness. Toxic bearness. Let's see. Oso Grande trudged through the deep dark woods until his cage and the rabbit warren were until his cave and the rabbit warren were far behind him. Deeper, darker, deeper and deeper he went until the springtime sun no longer reached him beneath the boughs of the ancient trees, and he couldn't go another step forward. He collapsed onto the forest floor and moaned, "Oh, what do? I want to make everyone happy, but I can't call other bears that. I can't call myself from when all this started that. Toxic bearness? I can't go along with that anymore and still be a bear." "Are you really still a bear?" somebody brayed from the darkness. "What do you mean?" Oso Grande asked the voice. Alright. When some little bunny complained that she didn't like how much you enjoyed honey because you're a bear, you stopped eating honey. When some little bunny complained that he didn't like how much you enjoyed salmon and fishing because you're a bear, and it's good for you, you gave up on fishing. When some little bunny complained that he didn't like how much you enjoyed climbing trees because you're a bear and you can see much beauty from up there, you stopped climbing trees. All because some bunny said it was unfair, that your nature was good for you, you stopped doing the things that you liked and didn't hurt anybody. To make everyone happy. Everyone but you. And once they were done getting you to give up your happiness, then what? Then some bunny comes along and calls you names until you eat grass, even though you're a bear and can't eat grass. Once your fur fell out and the autumn made you shiver, was that enough? No. Another bunny came along to call you names until you agreed to stay awake during winter. And you're a bear who needs to hibernate. Are they done? Well, no. Here you are in the darkest place in the deep dark woods, where the sun never shines, crying about how they want you to call yourself toxic. It's clear to me that the bunnies want to change your very nature, and these ones complaining about who you are will never be satisfied, and you cannot make them happy. Oso Grande stood and peered into the darkness in search of the source of the familiar and angry voice, but couldn't find it. "Who are you?" he asked, "and what should I do?" He was answered by a familiar face emerging from the shadows. It was Donkey Jack, and he looked so angry and hurt. that the guilt fell like a boulder on Oso Grande's heart. He looked down at Oso Grande and said, "Be who you really are." Oso Grande was shocked to find himself looking up at Donkey Jack, but he put that aside to say, "Of all the things I did wrong, you didn't say the worst one. Hopper called you awful names, and I went along with it, even though I knew better. I am so sorry." "I'm so sorry that I wasn't a loyal friend and let lies change how I acted toward you." Donkey Jack's anger melted away like spring snow, and he smiled up at Oso Grande, saying, "I've been waiting to forgive you. Let's go back and tell the bunnies that bears are good." "Let's," said Oso Grande, and he felt just as big as he used to for some reason. His fur was still awfully thin, though. Alright, B, there's the heroic ending that you guys thought I should have. B especially. And, it's about an hour. As far as what am I about at my very core? I am about, just as a person, I'm about trying to be good. I don't know if I am good. I don't know if I can be good. But I think that I will try. And that's what I'm about. And part of that is, I think there are things in the world that are wrong. I see them happening. I see people doing wrong things. I see people stealing from each other, killing from each other, hurting each other, and pretending like it's all okay. And I don't like that. And I would like to say something about it. And that's what I do here mostly. Also, Fridays we have fun, right? I don't know what next week is going to be like, but there's the story. There's the entire story. So next step, we need to find an illustrator for this story. And there are bears. My sister has a friend, and yeah, that would be the next step. I hope that answers the question of the "what am I about" kind of thing. And you guys have been pulling morals from the story that are there, and that's actually pretty cool. The morals are definitely there, but it wasn't the impetus behind the story. And I especially thank the guys, the bears who gave me the idea of using the word toxic, because toxicity being applied to people really bothers me, because you get rid of toxic things. You don't abide toxicity in your life. Yes, link to the text is in the description. I will be updating it after the stream is over. Yeah, that's the whole story. We are almost up on the time. And yeah, you can DM me. You can get in contact with me on Gab. You can make a hangout chat, add me in it, whatever, to get a hold of me. If you would like to be the illustrator for this story, we will be going forward with this illustration, or at least I will. This will be called. This will be called. This will be called Oso Grande. Thank you, Shamrock. Oh, thank you very much, Shamrock. That's very sweet of you. This will be called, as the title of this video, the story will be called Oso Grande Makes Everyone Happy. And it will be illustrated by somebody and written by Ryan Field with the help of some bears, I think. Or some good bears. Because I think I can call you guys good bears as well. And you guys thank you so much for being my sounding board and for pitching ideas for the story. More on a lighter tie. This is too dark for this shirt. I'll live and learn. And you guys were such an amazing help, and you made this process even more fun than writing normally is to me. And I am completely without any idea what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. Well, not tomorrow, also tomorrow, but next week. I've got no idea. No idea how the creative section of the show is going to be. But thank you guys for watching, for coming, for contributing, for all of the help that you've given me. When we finally do punish it, you guys will be on the cover as the bears or some good bears. One of those. But again, next step is finding an illustrator. Maybe actually, hey Pinder, are you still here? If Pinder is still in the chat, maybe tomorrow I can have just a little chat with Pinder about finding an illustrator and a publisher, because he's done this before. And in educating myself, in educating me, he can help educate my audience as well, educate you guys on how to do this, if you guys would also like to do this. So maybe we'll do that tomorrow. I don't think I'll have just a open free-for-all call-in show. I'll try and arrange somebody to actually show up tomorrow. But yeah, that's about it. We've gone. We haven't gone over for very long. I think we can have that for tomorrow's show, and maybe we'll have a Steelman next week. I want to have another Steelman. That was really fun with Tommy. There are other great bears who would love to give you guys a Steelman, so look out for those. Now, if you enjoyed the story, if you enjoyed the stream, if you enjoyed the process, please hit the like button. If you have fridge logic or ideas later, or if you're catching this on the replay, comment your ideas below. I read all of my comments, and I try to reply if I can think of something. But you'll know I read them because I always get out hearts and likes to good comments. You can follow me on Gab. Link is in the description. I am at REFAILB, Repealed, on Gab. And oh no! And if you would like to support the show, if you would like to support me, you can follow the link in the description labeled mug to a Redbubble, my Redbubble store. This camera to get this very handsome mug. Very handsome mug available now, which is just one of the ways it is superior to Pinder's ugly mug, which is no longer available because the campaign is ended. However, look forward to the slightly less inferior sheepdog mug, which shall be forthcoming eventually, possibly, but you know, Pinder's shifty for some reason. And if you would just like to buy me a beer, say thank you, whatever, or sow the field with ideas, you can go to paypal.me/fieldtalk to do that. And as always, have a great evening, have a great night, guys, and never forget that socialism always ends in starvation and genocide. Good night, everyone.